So yeah, guys, in the previous class, we have started with SSIS and I have showed you the basics of SSIS data loading and then the components of SSIS. And today, we're just gonna learn few more data loading tasks, right? So let me disable
Excuse
this
me,
one. Yeah.
Amar, that one precedence constraint,
Mm-hmm.
just having some confusions. Like if we don't want to execute the query, we can make it completion, failure, success. See all these. Like when can we face if it is not dependent tables, then we can make it failure or completion. That's what you told, no?
Not failure.
Hmm.
See,
Completion.
yeah, if there is no dependency between these two tasks, you can run it parallelly, or you can connect it, or you can make it completion, which means either the first task successfully run or failed, the execution will move on to the second task.
So we can leave that one permanently. So we don't want that code. So we are leaving that in that page itself. That's it.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
See, if one query is not executing, having some errors,
Okay.
so there is no need to rectify the errors. We can leave
No, we
and go.
have to
If it is
rectify,
not,
right? See, if that
yes,
is
we have.
necessary, if this task is necessary, but if it is failing also, you want to run it, that is fine. But you need to rectify the error messages which is throwing in the previous task, right?
Yes,
There
but
may
but
be,
you told by keeping that precedence constraint, the completion, then it will skip and go to that one directly, and it will show the result. And what is the need of all these? And then when can we use this all these precedence constraint? In which situation we can do that?
okay, what did you understand about the precedent constraint?
Yeah, precedent constraint, it will give that link from one to one execution SQL Server task. So by giving that link, first it will execute first query, then it will jump to next one, again next, like that. So if first query executes properly, or if first query has some errors, so
Mhm.
by keeping that precedence constraint to the second one, making it as failure. So first one is failure. So it will jump to second one.
Mhm. Why it is jumping to second one, and why you want to give the completion?
Yeah, that's what I'm not understanding. How can we leave that one which is having
See,
error, and
yeah,
how can we get the result?
yeah. See, here you are truncating the data before loading, right? Is it dependencies
Yeah.
between, there is a dependency between these two tasks or not?
Yes, there is dependence.
Is it mandatory to truncate the data before loading it?
Yes,
Why?
because if we don't truncate, no, it will the data will get double time. What you told, it
Duplicated.
offends.
Duplicated, right?
Yes, duplicates.
So you
Yes.
know the scenario, right? So when you know the scenario, you have to use it as a success, right?
Okay.
If you
Okay.
think that there is no dependency between these two tasks, you can give it
Hmm.
completion.
That's what I got doubt. If there is no dependence, why you are getting
Dependency you
this
will get to
and
know, right?
execute?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. See why you want to execute means, see if
Okay.
there may be a parallel execution issues also sometimes,
Oh, okay.
or maybe you are using this table here in the joins.
Okay. Okay. Join means that two tables will have some link
Correct.
so that we should
Indirectly it
execute.
will be linked. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
irrespective of
That.
this data, if there is no dependent, not indirect, direct dependency, if there is indirect dependency, you should use it completion.
Oh,
So that is what there is option. But if you wanted, you
okay.
can use it, or else you can leave it. Or if first task fails, if you want to run it the second task, you can give the failure.
Okay. Then second task, it won't load the data.
Correct.
So
Even though
only truncate happens. Yeah. Okay.
only if it fails, then
Okay.
only it will go to the second task. No, these are all the features. It is not mandatory to use it. Whenever there is a situation,
Oh,
this option.
okay. And one more thing, after going to that connection managers, we'll get one window in that you are giving SQL, SQL servers that you just go to that window. I will show
Very clear.
SQL statements. Yeah. After going there, you are giving connection and yeah, here SQL statement, SQL statement.
Yeah.
So this one, no, truncate table you have given here, no. So I'm not understanding why we are using here truncate table table name SQL statement.
What I told for this task, execute SQL task. What is the purpose of
Uh,
execute SQL task? What did I tell?
okay. Yeah, in control flow where we are giving a SQL statement query, that one to execute that query you are giving here.
Not only this one. See, whatever the SQL statements you want to execute through SSIS, you can use it to execute SQL task.
Okay. And one more thing. So everything data will be there in SQL servers. From there, we are retrieving here.
We are not
Right?
retrieving, we are loading data into SQL server from another SQL server.
From here, we are loading to some other one.
I think you did not listen the first class properly. See, what I told is, wait. So what I told is, from AdventureWorks database table to October 2021 database table, we are loading data. Assume since we don't have another server here, assume this may be another server. You are loading data from this database to this database. And before loading, we are truncating it.
Okay. Okay.
Clear? I hope I answer your question. Still confusion.
Okay. Clear. Yeah, no, clear.
Okay. And I am disabling this task, guys. If you disable it, if you run it also, it won't run, right? And if you want to enable it, if you can re-enable it. Okay. This is another option, whether you can use it, or if you don't want the task to be present here, you can delete it, right? So I'm just disabling it. I'm dragging one more data flow task here. And I'm dragging, see what I'm going to do is, again, I'll just load data from two different databases. Okay. I'm going to load data from Amaready database and the table is department, right? So this is the table which I'm going to load and create. See, there is no table called department in October 2021 database. If you observe here, we don't have any table called department, right? So we are going to first create the table and then we're going to insert data into it. So how to create a table which is there in another table, guys? How to create only the table? Is there any script? Any idea how to create a table which is there in another database? Either we can just right click on it and then script table as create to, we can copy it, right? And then instead of, see, we have got the script here and then we can point it the database to October 2021 and then we can execute it. The table will get created in October 2021, right? So, or we can also get the table creation script in SSIS also. I'll show you that. Okay. So let me drag source, YLDB source and then YLDB destination. YLDB destination and the YLDB source. And here my source database is, I'm referring Amaready, right? So we don't have a connection manager for that. So we'll create a new one, create new. Since I told if you have created already, it will be there in the left side. So I'll utilize this one, or else if you want to create new, you can just enter the server name and then connect to a database. So I already have created this one here. So I'm utilizing this instead of creating again new, click on OK. And I'm referring the table called department, right? So go to columns, check the column names. So these are my column names. And in the destination, so you don't have the table created in October 2021 database, right? So to get the source tables creation script, see there is an option here, new, right? If you click on it, we'll get the table script. copy it, and then paste it into your SQL code, right? So by default, the table name will be OLEDB destination. You just need to change it to your whatever the name you wanted to keep it. So department. So either way you can do it. If the table is not there, if you are pulling it from another database, either you can right click and get the table structure, or in SSIS also, once you point the source and the destination, if you click on new, you will get the table script, right? So I'll just execute this one. Department table has been created, and now point the department table. See, by default, it won't refresh, or sometimes now it got refreshed, and select the table name and then go to mappings, right? If let's say I'll drop the table, I want to show you one more thing, I forgot it. I'm dropping the table and recreate it. Okay, so drop table and then table name, and then I'll create here the column name as DEPT ID. I'm changing the name. In the source we have DEP underscore ID, right? And I changed the name now and I recreated it, right? So if I go back and point this table, if I go to mappings, is it automatically mapping?
No.
No, right? Why? Because if the column names are same between the source and destination, then the mappings will done automatically. If column names are different, then it will not map. So that's why you have to make sure when you are pointed to the destination table, and you have to go to the mappings and check it whether all the columns are mapped correct or not, right? So for department ID, select the appropriate one. That's it. So that's what I want to show you. So if there is a column names are difference, and it will be like ignore. So you need to select it manually. You need to point it manually, right? So and then click on OK. Any questions on this? No. Yeah. So either we can run it the task by right click and then execute, or we can run this task here. So that's the reason why I disabled it here. If I run it through package here, right click and execute, all the tasks within the package will get executed, right? But if I disable it, this won't run again, right? I don't want to run them now along with this task. That's why I disabled it, right? So the data has been loaded into the destination table now. So you can check it. Right. So this is the example of loading data between two tables, which is even your source is also a table and your destination also a SQL table. Let's take an example of if there is your source is a text file and if your destination is SQL database. How do you need to load it, right? So and also I told you in the previous class, we just need to mention the process and then table name, load department, so that if you give the task a proper name, if any new developer also sees the package, he easily he can get to know what exactly the operation is performing in the task, right? And again, I'm disabling it. I'm dragging one more task. In real time, guys, we will create multiple packages if there is a different procedures or different table load, or we'll create within the same. We'll get to know going forward. I'll tell you that. Right, for now I'm disabling this task and I'll tell you overall how you need to do it at last. And then I'm dragging one more data flow task, which is here I'm gonna load flat file to table. Okay, my source is flat file and the flat file is residing here. Okay, files, yeah. So there is a file called here emp details. All right, so this data I want to load into my database. This is what we're gonna do now. In real time, there may be, so your source may be a SQL Server source, or it may be a CSV file. CSV is nothing but comma separated value. I don't know whether how many of you know. .csv file will be there. CSV means comma separated value. right? So either it may be Excel or it may be CSV file or it may be a Teradata source or it may be a SQL Server source. So now we are going to see example of loading flat file table, flat file data into a SQL table. And we don't have a table name called EMP details as well, right? In our destination database, which is October 2021, right? So we don't have any EMP details table here. We have to create it. So let me drag my source. See here, if it is a table, we have used OLEDB source. Now it is a file, right? So we have to use the flat file source since we are using the flat file. Either it may be .txt or it may be .csv. Both are comes under flat files, right? And then my destination is OLEDB. Okay. And then I'll point the connector between them and the flat file source. For flat file, see, we did not create any file system connection manager here, right? We have created all the three as a database connection managers. So to do that, either you can right click here under the connection managers and create a new flat file connection, or you can do it from here as well. So click on new. If you click on new, it will open up a pop-up asking for browsing a file. So browse it. And my file is residing here, which is EMP details. I'm opening that. And then there are few options here. For now, you just ignore it. Okay, I'll explain you all these options. So let me go to columns. So this is how the source file data looks like, all right? The sample data. Click on OK. And then OK. I have configured my source and now destination. Since I did not created a table, you can just get the structure, and you also need to point the connection manager to proper one. And you can get the table structure by clicking on new, as I told you previously, right? So if you click on new, you will get the file structure as well in the form of table format. So just paste that script into a SQL window and then change your name appropriately. So I'll just give EMP details, right? And see, by default, the data types are varchar of 50, right? See why? Because the flat file by default it is varchar data type, and each and every column will get with varchar data type on. See, EMP ID value is 1 2 3 4 something, right? It is a integer value, but still I can see it is created with varchar. If I use the new query, I mean new table creation option here, right? See, by default it will take varchar of 50. And why? Because I think I told the reason, right? So by default flat file data type is varchar. That's why it will take all the columns as varchar. If you want to change it, you can change it to integer, right? And name, let it be even salary also. If you want to change it, you can change it to integer. And if you want to change it to date of birth to date time, you can change it, right? So I have changed it. Let me create it. I have created a table, and since I have created newly, you won't see any data in it. Select star from, yeah, this is empty table. Now what I'm going to do is I'll point this table as a destination, EMP details, and then go to mappings. See here, there is a warning message. You should visit the mappings page and then check it whether all the columns are mapped or not. All the columns are mapped. Click on OK. Save it, and I'm running my package. Right click and then execute. Try and find. And if I go to here, you can see 11 rows are loaded into the destination. So if you want to come out of the execution, either you should click on here or at the bottom of the design page here. right? It will come out of the execution, and go to your table and check the data whether 11 rows are inserted or not, right? Clear? And now see here I have loaded the data. Let's say there is a file and the data is something like this. How to load it? See, each and every value is enclosed with double quotes, right? How to load it? We'll see. Okay. You also can create a text file, something like this, and then try to practice it. So if there is a data comes from a text file, something like this, and what you need to do is you just need to change the some features here. So for that, let me create, I don't want to disturb this existing task. I'll create a new task for that, for the example. And I'll just take again flat file source, OLEDB destination, and I'll create a new connection manager as well. New, browse the file, EMP, details, copy. If you go to columns, see here, by default, the data is coming in double quotes. So you should remove, you have to remove the double quotes and then you have to load the data, right? And also there is an option called here column delimiter. What is the column delimiter? In the previous file also, if you see, the column delimiter is a comma only, right? So which means if you observe the file here, each column is separated with what value? It's a comma, right? Each value, that is what it is, the option, column delimiter. It is a comma. If let's say if there is another separator instead of comma, if there is a pipeline is something like this, right? Then we have to choose the column delimiter as pipeline here, vertical bar, right? But now our file is comma only, we are selecting comma, right? So refresh it, and but still you can see there is a double quotes enclosed for each and every value here. So how to ignore that is, so there is an option called text qualifier here, right? So you have to give your value over there, which is by default it will be none. If it is double quotes, we have to give the double quotes, right? And if you go back to columns, see here, now double quotes are removed. Okay, and then click on OK. And also, if you want to remove some header rows, if let's say we have values here 1 2 3, let's say here I'll change the values to 30 and then 33, right? So I don't want to run, I don't want to load this top row, top one row from this file. Then there is an option called here header rows to skip. By default it is 0. If you want to, if you don't want to load the top one row, you can just increase it to 1, so that the top row will not be fetched. That is what this option header rows to skip, right? And also you can see here column names in the first data row. Check whether the provided file has the column names or not. If it is having column names, then keep this checkbox as it is. If in case, if the header row, if the headers are not there in the file, directly the first row itself having data, then you have to uncheck this checkbox. Then what happens, you know, I'll uncheck this. If you go to columns page, you can see here column names will not be there. It will just say column 0, column 1, column 2, right? So as of now we have the column names, just choose that, right? So how many options we have discussed here? 3 options: text qualifier, and header role name, it will be CRLF. This is by default. You don't need to change it. And then header rows to skip, by default it is 0. And if there is a requirement you want to skip some few rows, top few rows from a file, you can skip it. In my case, I don't want to run the top one row, right? So that is why I had given 1 here. And the column names in the first data row, if there are column names in the file, you can check this checkbox. By default it will be checked, right? And then click on OK. Okay, and then I'll choose the destination as same table, guys, and also make sure the destination connection manager is properly pointed, right? So my destination is October 2021 and the table name is EMP detail. Same table, I'll select it, right? See here, what happened? The values are coming, not the column names, right? So let me click on OK and then check my flat file. See, what's the problem here? We need to check the flat file connection manager and reset columns. Go to columns, reset it. It is having some issue, I guess. So let me delete it and I'll create new again. Click on new and then browse the file, which is emp details _ copy. And the text to qualifier is double quotes. Header rows to skip, we had given 1. So choose that and then go to columns. Let's say if I give 0. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you this one. I think it is not working out. So I'm just making the header rows to skip to 0. I'm not removing the first top row for now. And then reset columns. Click on OK. And yeah, in my destination, choose the table name and go to mappings, right? So this is how you need to use when there is a data coming with the double quotes in the source, right? So let me load it, whether it will load the data or not. Go to control flow, right click and then execute task. Try and find. Just a second, guys. Yeah, so you try and find. You can see 3 rows are loaded. So let me check the table data. Can you see here 1, 30 and then 33, right? So this is how you need to load when the source file is having some extra characters, something like this, the text to qualifier. So in interview also they will ask you here. So this is important thing you should remember, and the property you have to remember is text qualifier here, right? And one more thing you should remember is if your file is having the column delimiter is something else, right? Maybe let me show you that as well. I'll change the column delimiter to pipeline. By default, it should auto select. If not, we'll see. I'm changing it to pipeline. But also pipeline. Pipeline. Guys, can we change the timings back to morning? It will be difficult for me. Guys, everyone fine? Can we connect back in the mornings? See, yesterday also I had some work. I couldn't able to spend time, and today also I'm getting some meeting invitations. I have to join. I cannot spend 1 hour time in the evenings. Everyone fine?
Okay, sir.
I think the last time it requested by who?
Yeah, it's me, Amar.
Yeah,
Padmaja.
is it okay to
No,
change it to
it's
morning?
not. No, it's not possible up to 9. After 9, I can come. But remaining persons has some issues by 9.
Okay. See, my office timing is in 1 to 9. So some days I'll be free, but sometimes I'll be busy with meetings or some other work. So I cannot spend much time. So even now also, if you observe today, I'll be taking in between some time. See why? Because I'll be logging in the office laptop in front of me and then I need to reply them. So, okay, we'll see. Maybe tomorrow also we can connect in the evening. But maybe going further at least. Guys, is anyone fine with morning 9 a.m.? 8:30? Okay, we'll see. Tomorrow also we'll connect in the evening and then we'll decide. So I just changed the column delimiter as pipeline. And let me check now. We go to here. See how the values are coming within the same employee, right? If you change it to pipeline, see now data is coming in the proper, right? So that's what the column delimiter is. So you just need to check what column delimiter it is there in the file, and accordingly you have to select the column delimiter. By default it will be comma. If it is comma in your case, then let it be. And if it is something else, if there is a tab delimiter, then you have to use the tab here. All right. Yeah. Any questions with the text file source? If not, guys, today I told you loading data from a table to table. That's fine. So that is simple. And you should practice it with the text file data and with different options. Okay, like delimiters I changed, right? So change the delimiter and try to practice. And also, now I explained you with taking a source as a text file. Now you have to practice it with reverse. Take a table as a source and then flat file as a destination. Try that way also. Okay. I'm not going to teach that. You just try it. It will be same. Instead of taking flat file as a source, take flat file as a destination and load the data from your SQL table to flat file. All right. And try it. If anyone is having any issues, I'll tell you. If it is not able to achieve it, you can also take the help of Google. Okay. So in real time, if anything you have doubts, you need to check with your teammates or maybe the Google Help also you need to take it. And you have to learn how to ask the Google also, in which, I mean, what exactly your concern is, so that you have to type it. You should learn that as well, right? So sometimes querying a Google also is a big headache, right? So you should not, if you did not ask the Google right question, so you will not get the links properly. I think you will experience that, right? So take the help of Google as well if you are not able to achieve this while loading data from OLEDB source to flat file destination, right? Yeah, I think that's it for today. Again, I'll try to spend 1 hour time tomorrow in the evening. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining, and we'll connect tomorrow.